Hello. Today, because of snow, our school and everything is canceled, so I'm not able to get the video out at the right time. But nonetheless, I'll do the best and have it out, even though it's late. This is the 8th week in Ordinary Time. We start off with the book of Sirach. Chapter 27, verses 4 to 7. The book of Sirach is one of the wisdom books of the Old Testament. This wisdom helps us to see as the Lord sees, not to be blinded or misguided by the way the world sees. It makes what is bad to appear desirable and acceptable. What we say reveals what we think, what the mind sees or believes to be the truth or reality. Our reading says, so too does one's speech disclose the bent of one's mind. In the third reading, Luke chapter 6, verses 39 to 45. Jesus saw that all too often people criticized others, but they were guilty of far worse, showing that they were blind to their own guilt. It is only natural to show partiality in judging ourselves generously, and others overbearingly and negatively. It is only by living our lives in the God who sees fully and truly that we can be just as God is just. Jesus says in our reading, "For every tree is known by its fruits." Later in the text he says, "For from the fullness of the heart the mouth speaks." What is the life or life-giving force of our hearts? What fills our hearts that shows itself in our words, actions, emotions, facial expressions, and attitudes? Growing in communion with God, whose body we eat and whose blood we drink, makes Jesus the life of our hearts. Living Jesus as the life of our hearts, begging him to be the Lord of our hearts. Jesus, with us working alongside of him, cultivates us to become the good tree, bearing only good fruit. What joy it brings to grow more and more in the Lord. In the second reading, 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verses 54 to 58. What we cannot do, God can. Sin and death have been crushed through Christ. Thanks be to God who gives us the victory through our Lord Jesus Christ. Know that in the Lord your labor is not in vain. God bless us all.